I'm king, and they know it. When I snap my fingers, everybody says sure. I'm hot, and you're not. But if you want to hang with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that.
Oh my God.
My God.
That's just gold.
That
really is gold. That's the best one we have.
That's got to be. That's the new standard.
Oh my God, I love it. I love the edit on it.
Yeah. It's an amazing edit.
My God. We should actually try to stitch together the Independence Day general saying "My God."
My God to the end of that. Now you're getting crazy.
Now things are getting complex.
Well, it's what we do here on Colin and Greg Live. Get way too complex for what our standards are, what we know what to do.
Welcome to Colin and Greg Live right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. Our daily, every weekday nerdy talk show at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Greg.
Yep.
Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me,
Teen
Colin.
Witch, of course, the 1989 cult classic. And the rap song is named Top That.
And now I want to point this out, that this was, for the first time ever, someone edited it for us, and that's why it got done quicker than usual. That one comes from Skaman5000. He sent it to one of our amazing mod, Zyger, who sent it over to us. The message that came with it from Skaman was, great job on the new shows, and the older ones. Keep up the good work. Other generic email compliment here. And I'm glad I was able to do something, even if it's just trimming and sending a video from the internet. Because there is an edit there.
Yeah, the timing's brilliant. Let's watch it again.
She doesn't roll up and say, my God. That's like edited. It's great. Let's watch Teen Witch one more time.
I'm king, and they know it. When I snap my fingers, everybody says sure. I'm hot, and you're not. But if you want to hang with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that.
Oh my God.
My God. We can't even really hear it. Like, it's down there. It's just so perfect.
Oh, it's too good, man. It's too good.
AdRock8203 says, I got a vasectomy today.
Congratulations.
So welcome. I'm glad we're there as you recuperate your scrotum.
All right, Greg, let's jump right into the news segment. The biggest news of the day is the FCC's net neutrality rating. Yeah, they deserve a round of applause. Some people, just goes to show you that people will find anything to complain about on the internet, because there's some people that are actually upset about this, and it's like, okay. But all right, so to catch everyone up, if we actually want to go to the variety story first.
Oh, sorry.
So to catch people up, net neutrality is this thing in the United States that's been going around for
decades.
A long time, actually, in different ways. And basically what it means is that the cable providers would be treated like utilities under net neutrality, essentially. That means that like a company like Netflix or Google couldn't be charged more for faster service. What
Sure.
net neutrality was basically going to do was create fast and slow lanes, and that's a really kind of a basic way of putting it. But where companies would pay for premium speed. So if you wanted to continue, so if this didn't pass, Netflix would then have to go to Comcast and all these different places and basically pay.
Yeah.
And everyone expected that the FCC was going to vote today to decline net neutrality, specifically because the man in charge of the FCC used to be a lobbyist for Comcast. And obviously, literally the only people that were interested in denying net neutrality were literally all of the cable companies. No one else wanted anything but net neutrality. Literally no one. All the internet companies, Google, Amazon, everyone. All of the consumers. I was watching an interesting John Oliver piece where they were saying, like, this is literally the only thing ever where, like, the companies and the people were like, oh yeah, we actually want the same thing. So here's what the story
says.
The FCC approved robust rules of the road of the internet on Thursday, a move that supporters believe will prevent conglomerates from consolidating control over the flow of online content, but that critics characterize as a huge regulatory overreach. The FCC's approach is one favored by many public interest groups, Hollywood content creators, and a large number of web companies, including Netflix and Twitter. It is reclassifying internet service as a Title II telecommunications service, a regulatory designation akin to that of a utility. The FCC's move is intended to give it solid authority to post rules over the internet service. They prohibit ISPs from blocking or throttling content, as well as from collecting payments from content providers for speedier access to their subscribers. The latter has been commonly referred to as the idea that ISPs would eventually create internet fast lanes, which is what I was referring to. The sharply divided 3-2 vote on Thursday may not spell the end of the decade-long debate over net neutrality, but a new period of contentiousness. The FCC's approach is strongly opposed by cable and telecom companies, which provide wired and wireless internet service, along with congressional Republicans, who have already launched hearings and inquiries into the FCC's rulemaking. They say that the reclassification of the internet will burden the industry with unnecessary regulation. In unveiling his proposal earlier this month, FCC Chairman Tom Wheeler, who is the man who worked for Comcast, even called the, quote, the strongest open internet protections ever proposed by the FCC, which is bullshit, of course. So basically, the contentiousness comes from all right, let me back up a minute.
Sure.
I understand why some people, especially Republicans, are concerned about this, because this is regulation, and some people are particularly adverse to any sort of regulation, like core Republicans, core libertarians, and I consider myself a libertarian Republican. The thing is that
Sir Abelis in the chat says, I'm interested to know how Colin justifies supporting net neutrality as a libertarian. I'm personally not a fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally easy for me to do that. Basically, the internet is so important, like, say, water or electricity,
Sure.
that you kind of need those things to be regulated to protect the consumer, because the consumer isn't a selective person. Everyone uses electricity and everyone uses the internet.
Yeah.
So to go around and basically, why would any, like, when you back up and it's like, you want to give power to probably the worst companies in the entire United States. Comcast, Time Warner, AT&T, Cablevision, all
Our internet's
Cox.
cut immediately.
Like, they all suck. No one likes those companies. They're all terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this is a way for the government to say, listen, like, don't get any ideas about what you're going to do. You know, like, you're not going to charge Netflix extra money to be able to provide good content to their consumers. The internet is something that everyone is going to be used at a base level, and that to me is I don't want to say necessarily free market, because I'm not sure it is free market, but it's something that's necessary. Sometimes you must come out of the bounds of your own ideological bubble, which is what I'm doing with this.
Yeah.
And saying, listen, the internet's too important. It's too important.
Yeah. You can't let it fall into the wrong hands here. You can't let it set a precedent. It's going to fuck everything up for everybody.
Now, there are some questions that are interesting about this.
Yeah.
The FCC released a 300-page, or voted on a 300-page document that no one has read, and no one knows what's in it. They're telling us and this reminds me a great deal of Obamacare, for instance, which is why so many people like me were against it, because it's like, well, what's in it?
Yeah.
We will eventually, I assume, see it, but there's some concern about what is in the paper, and that's totally valid.
Yeah.
That said, the people that are talking about with knowledge of what is with knowledge of what is in it says, listen, no fast lanes, no slow lanes. The cable companies are not going to be throttled. The cable companies can't throttle other companies.
Sure.
They can't charge companies more. The government cannot set a price on how much the internet is going to cost. All of these things that people were concerned about. So they're basically allaying some of your fears. That said, I respect the notion of that, because this is what happened with the income taxes, what happened to all these things where you introduce things and then they blow up.
Yeah.
And I get it. But I'm hopeful that this is the right thing. And this seems like the right thing. You know, and when the people and the major companies are on the same side, that says something to me, that actually your interests are all aligned for once. You know, and so that's net neutrality. And I apologize to our European audience. We have a lot of Europeans listening, because this is not relevant to them. But
I definitely don't know about this neutrality, do I?
so I
That
don't
was
know.
bad even for me.
We'll see what happens. But I think that we are in good shape. I think we're in good shape with this.
Okay, good. So now our internet's going to get better.
Not necessarily, but the internet will stay the same.
Okay.
I think we have fairly decent speeds, at least on the coasts and major cities in the United States.
Yeah.
Like in a global comparison, we have huge infrastructure problems. This doesn't change that.
Gotcha.
It basically just protects the consumer. Like, there's nothing. It's like the same thing. Like we send people to meat plants to make sure that like. I don't care if you're a libertarian or Republican, a socialist, whatever. Like, there are certain things that just make sense. Like, why not? Like ideology must not get in the way of common sense.
Sure.
You know, it makes sense that we have people that test our drugs before they go on the market. It makes sense to me. I'm a libertarian, and I think that's great. You know, like, the market correction from that is people die. You know, like, so, like, why not?
Why do that?
So whatever. I think that this is the right thing to do. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I am a Republican, and most of my party opposes this because of principle. And I think you have to bend your principles sometimes to do the right thing. And I think this is the right thing to do.
Okay.
But the law of unintended consequences usually comes to bite us back in the ass, so maybe these people are right. We'll see. Greg, there's another piece on Deadline Hollywood, and it says this has industry and industry group reactions.
Gotcha.
So, like, what are people saying? And I thought that this would be, instead of listening to what we're saying, you know, we'll listen to what the people that are more heavily involved in
Sure.
the neutrality argument. Because, you know, at the end of the day, like, I've not been so engaged in the net neutrality fight personally. I don't know if you have been.
No.
Simply because I thought it was a foregone conclusion that it would not happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's over. So like, why even bother? And so I didn't educate myself on it too much other than knowing like the peripheral facts of what net neutrality is. But these people are much more engaged in it, so they're a lot smarter than us, so let's see what they say. Free Press CEO Craig Aaron says, quote, today's vote is the biggest win for the public interest in the FCC's history. It's the culmination of a decade of dedicated grassroots organizing and advocacy. There's no doubt that the cable and telecom monopolies and their hired guns will ramp up their lies and lobbying in an attempt to take this victory away from internet users, but we're ready to fight back and defend this historic win, end quote. National Cable and Telecommunications CEO Michael Powell, former FCC chairman, he says, quote, today the FCC took one of the most regulatory steps in its history. The FCC has taken the overwhelming support for an open internet and pried open the door to heavy-handed government regulation in a space celebrated for its free enterprise. The Commission has breathed new life into the decayed telephone regulatory model and applied it to the most dynamic, freewheeling, and innovative platform in history. It falls to Congress to step in. Working together, our legislative leaders can protect an open internet while ensuring that it remains free for innovation without government permission, and that it continues to create strong incentives to deploy ever faster broadband to every American. The FCC has taken us in a distressing direction. We must now look to other branches of government for a more balanced resolution. I don't know. To me, I understand some of what he's saying. Like, there's not going to be much of a reason now for, like, under a regulatory umbrella for a company like Comcast to be like, well, now we're going to give you faster internet speeds.
Interesting.
You know, like, so there is going to be problems. That said, like, I don't really see how this is stopping this is the freedom of creators to be on the same, like, you and I are not going to be approached by Cox Cable or whatever, or Time Warner, and be like, hey, you guys got to pay us a little bit more, or your YouTube channel is going to be slower than your competitor's YouTube channel.
That's a good thing.
Verizon Senior Vice President Michael Glover says, quote, today's decision by the FCC to encumber broadband internet services with badly antiquated regulations is a radical step that presages a time of uncertainty for consumers, innovators, and investors. Over the past 2 decades, a bipartisan light touch policy approach unleashed unprecedented investment and enabled the broadband internet age consumers now enjoy, end quote. So you can see that the guys on one side feel one way.
Yeah.
Writers Guild of America West President Chris Kaiser says, today's vote by the Federal Communications Commission to reclassify the internet as a Title II telecommunications service and institute the strongest open internet rules to date is an historic moment for this country. Despite the vast amount of money poured into lobbying efforts by the telecoms to kill net neutrality, the public interest has won out. Reclassifying the internet ensures that the progress towards more independent and diverse content already enabled by the open internet will continue unabated, and that a free market that rewards creators and consumers will flourish. That's the way I see it. You know, like, that's like, I don't see how anything changes. Literally, this doesn't change anything. It just stops everyone from fucking with it.
From trying to change it.
Yeah. So anyway, you can go and find more on Deadline.com, some more completely conflicting comments.
Read both approaches. Decide if it's the great or if it's ruined everything. That's how the internet works. Period.
So yeah, this just makes sense to me. It's just the same way we just have to approach things on a case-by-case basis. There's too much ideology in everything. There's way too much ideology. You know?
Yeah.
Pampering.
Well, this is what
you're a
you're talking
Republican
about.
or a Democrat? You're a Republican, you're for it. If you're a Democrat, it's like, shut the fuck up. Who cares? Like, what is the matter at hand and what makes sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me. And people are saying, some people are complaining about gaming news. Hey, guess what?
Nerdy news is what we say.
Yeah, but just throwing that out there. If this didn't happen today, I'm interested to see how throttled the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live would have been, and then we wouldn't have next year much gaming news to talk about at all. So let's
Johnny
see.
Sniper says what we're all thinking. Can't put Colin in a box.
You can't.
You refuse to be put in a box.
You can't. It's nice to see a lobby pouring literally tens of millions of dollars a year into something and just fucking fail. You know? Just fail. They just fail. They lost all their money. Everything Comcast tried to do. Now Comcast is going to spend tens of millions of more dollars to tie things up in court and go to court and sue the government and all that kind of stuff. It's like, you know what? Keep spending your money. Because there's no one out there more excited about, you know, God, I can't wait until we have a real choice, like when Google Fiber or something comes here, because everyone hates these companies.
Oh my God,
Yep.
yeah. Once Google figures out a way to get Wi-Fi that's amazing to everybody and get Google Fiber to everybody, yeah, everybody's fucked. You're totally gone. I'm a ghost as soon as that's a possibility.
Stinky P22 says the FCC does have the power to set the minimums for broadband like they did a few weeks ago. They reclassified broadband as 25 down and 5 up, where previously it was 5 down and 1 up. So things are happening. Whether or not you like those things, they are happening.
Things are happening. It's changing your perception of everything.
Let's rock and roll with some gaming news now, Greg.
All right.
The first thing I want to do is go to the PlayStation blog because I think this is the most important news of the day. Spring Fever 2015 was announced.
Oh my god.
Of course, every year Sony does Spring Fever. It's a promotion where they release a bunch of new games to their platforms anyway, and they give you a nice price and they announce all these release dates and whatnot. So today, Sony announced Spring Fever 2015, which is 8 weeks, 8 new PS4 games. All of them are PS Plus discounts. The games are fucking rad.
Yeah, this is a great one.
Helldivers, which we already have, and we're going to start playing, and I wish we had time to stream it, but we just don't.
Yeah.
But I'm playing, we're playing Helldivers.
We're going to have a Let's Play up on Monday.
So we'll do our best so I can. That comes out on the 3rd. Hotline Miami 2 comes out the next week on PS4 and Vita. Hotline Miami 2 Wrong Number, that will also be discounted. The next week after that, Shmup Jamestown Plus comes out. That will be discounted. The week after that, Metal Slug 3 comes to PS4. That will be discounted. Then Axiom Verge comes to PS4, which looks awesome. That will be discounted. Bastion. Yes. We now released it for Bastion on PS4 and Vita. I think it might. I don't know if the Vita one. Let me double check here. Cross-buy title launching later. Yeah, so the Vita one will launch later for Bastion. That comes out. That will be discounted on PS4. Then Titan Souls comes out on both PS4 and Vita. And then Shovel Knight, the game we've all been waiting for.
April 21st.
April 21st.
Colin's Game of the Year.
PS4, PS3, and Vita. And my hope is that we get 3 different trophy lists for that game, because I will platinum it
3 different
times.
Well, you're crazy.
But I suspect we will not get that. So that's awesome. As well, if you scroll down more, I mean, there's some more, I don't want to say inconsequential news, but basically if you frame these weeks, so like the 3rd to the 9th, the 10th through the 16th, etc., sales of different series will also be happening concurrent to these games being released.
Yeah.
So the week that Helldivers comes out, you will also get discount on Lego games.
Makes sense.
The week that Shovel Knight comes out, you will get discounts on Call of Duty, etc. and so on. So a lot of money to be kept in your pocket here, Greg.
Yeah. You gotta spend money to save money is what they say.
They do. Well, no, they don't say that. They say you have to spend money to make money.
But you can save it by spending it too, kind of. In this situation.
I agree. I think that's a really sound logic, Greg.
Thank you.
Let me see here. Let me close these windows here. I want to go to Kotaku now. There was an interesting and bizarre story that our friend Jason Schreier wrote. And it's a very small piece about Donkey Kong. We talk about Donkey Kong.
You said he sucked yesterday.
Yeah,
you said
Donkey
he
Kong
sucked.
sucks. Not the games, just the character. I like the games very much. But he wrote this really weird thing that I didn't realize. Donkey Kong Country back on Wii U after mysterious 2-year absence.
Interesting.
And he says, in November of 2012, Nintendo pulled the Donkey Kong Country trilogy from the Wii's Virtual Console. They gave no explanation, as is the Nintendo way. And today, nearly 2.5 years later, Nintendo announced that all 3 games are coming back, this time for Wii U. We still don't know why the set of classic platformers went MIA for so long. Some have theorized that their disappearance involves a dispute with Rare, the studio that developed all 3 SNES Donkey Kong Country games, which is now owned by Microsoft. They're wonderful games, though, so it's nice to see them back and playable on the modern system. I just wanted to throw this out here because, first of all, Donkey Kong Country is awesome, and if people haven't played those games, they should go on their Wii U and buy them. But second of all, it's interesting that there might have been some legal dispute, even though Nintendo clearly owns the Donkey Kong license.
Yeah.
Maybe through Rare, who obviously made these games and now was purchased by Microsoft several years later.
Maybe it's like the
Weird.
Disney Vault.
Very weird.
It's the Disney Vault.
They take them and they
put them away, and then you bring them back out. Hey, everybody, you can finally buy Mario Brothers on NES again. Get out there and get on your Virtual Console. Blow the dust off it. Get on there and do your thing, kid.
Nintendo giveth, Nintendo taketh away. So just a little kind of PSA in case you're curious what the hell happened in those games. I thought that was an interesting story by Jason because I would have never known that.
Yeah.
Let's go over to GameSpot now and talk about the new Toe Jam and Earl game that's in development. This is by our friend Eddie. He says, new Toe Jam and Earl in development, first details revealed. Original designer Greg Johnson announced his plans to revive the long-dormant action series. And here's what Eddie wrote. Following some initial reports, developer Greg Johnson and his studio Human Nature on Wednesday officially announced that a new Toe Jam and Earl game is in development. It's suitably titled Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove, and Johnson, co-creator of the franchise, is crowdfunding the project through Kickstarter. He is seeking $400,000 to bring the project to life. Johnson, one of the original Toe Jam and Earl designers, is working on Back in the Groove with a, quote, very small indie team, end quote, consisting of 3 other developers, he explained. The team has self-funded the game so far and hopes to release the game on its own without a publisher so that, quote, we can build the game we want to make, end quote. Should funding for Back in the Groove come in strong, the team may grow in size, but Johnson said it's his hope that the developer can stay relatively small, totaling no more than 8 or 9 employees. Johnson co-owns the Toe Jam and Earl franchise with Mark Vozinger, who is not working on Back in the Groove. Early games in this series were licensed to Sega, and Johnson said he remains in, quote, a good relationship with the company as it related to the series. So I just want to throw this out there because there's a lot of fans of this. Toe Jam and Earl originally came to Genesis in 91.
I remember.
And it had a sequel, Panic and Funkotron, in 93. And then there was Toe Jam and Earl 3, Mission to Earth, in 2002. So it's been dormant for a while, but I think that people consider 1 and 2 the classics, of course.
Sure.
The Genesis classics. And it's cool that this will be revived once more if they get the money. What's the Kickstarter at right now? So they'll be fine. I think they'll get the...
Yeah. I figure a lot of people do that thing where they remind themselves and then they get a big thing as it closes out.
Now, quickly, scroll down. Do they say anything about platforms?
That's me gasping real quick.
Like, this needs to go. This is such a problem with Kickstarter. You need to put this shit up front.
Yeah.
What is the platform?
What is the... Wow.
Presumably it's PC, you have to assume, right?
Sure. Let's control F on it.
I know. Just... You're looking for PlayStation?
I was looking for platform.
Oh, here it is. Initially, we're focusing, so PC, you hope to put on all platforms, and will, of course, depend on funding and arrangements of the platform vendors. Usually, when I go to a Kickstarter page, I just Control F Vita. And if nothing comes up, I just X out.
And if it does come up, still nothing happens
still-
for you. You refuse
still I'm like, oh,
to support them, but you just wanted to know.
I just was curious.
You remember the Genesis commercial? Gotta get Genesis.
For Toe Jam and Earl?
This is the one where it was about Genesis. And
Oh,
they
no, I don't
showed
remember
Spider-Man, and then at the end, and then they go, with Toe Jam and Earl, Genesis. Genesis. God. I'm gonna find it on YouTube.
All right, let's see. Greg.
Yep.
I got a little something for our PC fans out there.
Is it the Genesis commercial I was talking about?
No. You're gonna look for. Is this the one?
I don't know. I'm looking. You keep working. You keep talking what we done. No, it's,
Jesus Christ.
see if they say with Toe Jam and Earl at the end.
All right. Over at Polygon, Arthur Geese writes a story called "Bringing Real-Time Strategy to the MOBA Genre with the Namco's Supernova." And he writes in, I know what developer Primal and publisher Namco Bandai are saying about their new game Supernova is a MOBA in the vein of League of Legends and to a lesser degree Dota 2, but with a real-time strategy twist. Even with an alpha client for the game releasing today, I'm not close to understanding what Supernova is going to be, or if you allow me, who it is. According to Primal Studio director Zoltan Zufa, which is a fucking awesome name, the Hungarian studio based out of Budapest started working on Supernova in 2012, at which point it was a more conventional kind of real-time strategy game in the vein of StarCraft 2, with an emphasis on base building, armies, and commander-style hero units. As League of Legends came to dominate the PC landscape and redefine esports globally, Supernova changed, pushing its focus towards those hero units, but it hasn't left those armies behind. So basically, Polygon has an interesting piece about this MOBA that's entering the fray. And I thought this was an interesting story, Greg, specifically because it seems that League of Legends and Dota 2 kind of control that space with an iron fist, and yet we see an example of a developer, this time a Hungarian developer, developing a different kind of game, seeing the trends and actually changing the game mid-development, being lucky enough to do that. And so I'm really curious how this game actually does, because it's, first of all, it's going to take a lot to get people away from those games. League of Legends, when you play League of Legends, it seems like that's what you play, which is why I'm not curious about that game at all. I have no interest in that game. Because it is a platform, you know? And Dota is a platform. I know people that play those games, and that seems to be basically all they play. So it's hard to get people, it's like saying, like, taking a Vita away from us and being like, here's a new thing. It's like, no, I played the Vita.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just curious about how this does. And
not well is the answer. It's not going to do well, because you're always, anytime you talk about this, you start talking about League and you start talking about Dota, and then guess what? Those are it's like when everybody, what's going to be the WoW killer? What's going to be this? What's, you know what I mean? Like, no, don't even try.
It is very.
Get out of this genre. It's over.
It seems to be that and I don't know if people agree with me out there, but it seems PC space, is just rife with games. I don't want to say rife. Let's not say that. It's rife with players that play a select few games and nothing else. Yeah. And you don't really see that on console and handheld. That's not to say that's wrong, because that's what people want to do, and that's great. But it seems like the PC space, whether you're playing an MMO or a MOBA, obviously people jump in and play a bunch of shit on Steam and stuff like that. But it seems like there's a sect of people on PC that do not exist on other platforms.
Mitch Dyer only plays Dota.
Yeah.
Love him. He loves it. That's all he's got to do.
By the way, just as a quick aside,
yeah.
The Polygon, their page layout's really nice.
Polygon is a beautiful website. Yeah. Since they've launched, their site has been incredibly beautiful, and it seems like every time they do something else, it gets even better. Yeah. But like anytime you scroll through, it's one of those few. They're trying magazine layouts online that are different than what you just see everywhere else, right? Like IGN, what the article's going to look like every time, and I'm not knocking IGN. Whereas with Polygon, you click in and it's very, very visual, very, very different.
And some people are saying, and they make good points, like people play Madden or Call of Duty or FIFA or Halo. That's a good point, but not for years and years. People play Call of Duty and then they'll play the next Call of Duty, and then they'll play the next Call of Duty.
Yeah.
People play Madden, and then the next Madden, and then the next Madden, or the show, or whatever.
Yeah.
They do not play Madden 12 for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's quite different. Also, some of those games are on PC as well. So I'm just saying that if you segment those two audiences, you really have a group of people that play like World of Warcraft. They play that for 10 years, some of them. And Guild Wars, some things like that. I used to live with a guy that played EverQuest 2, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, and that's literally it. You know, he loved that fucking game, man.
Yeah.
He loved that goddamn game. Greg, Fable Legends, been in development for a while, exclusive to Xbox One.
Thanks to the resub, Zero Veins.
Our friend Keza McDonald over at Kotaku wrote, Fable Legends is indeed free to play, and it's not a bad thing. So today they announced that Fable Legends, which I think maybe people assumed was going to be a free to play game, is indeed
Mitch
a
called it.
free-to-play game.
He tweeted this morning that he called it.
And Keza wrote an interesting story here about why it's not a bad thing that it's free to play, because I think that free to play, rightfully so in some respects, has a bad rap on console specifically. Because look what it has done. It has bottomed out and destroyed the iOS market. You know, like just ruined it.
Yeah.
And you see all these fucking commercials on TV for these games, misrepresented games.
Game of War.
Yeah, and it's like these beautiful graphics and it's just like a little top-down strategy game that it's like, Jesus Christ. But she writes, to be honest, the first time I ever saw Fable, Lionhead's 4v1 multiplayer remix of Fable. I think she meant Fable Legends. Lionhead's 4v1 multiplayer remix of Fable due out later this year. I could not have made a confident, educated guess that it would be free to play. Its reliance on team play and selection of different customizable heroes suggested a splash of LOL and Dota, which we were just talking about, might have found its way into the design document. The developers officially confirmed it shortly after announcing that players on PC can join Xbox One owners in the same matches. For fans already thrown by the idea of multiplayer-only Fable, this might not seem like the most reassuring news, but it certainly appears that Lionhead aspires to the Valve model of free-to-play as opposed to, say, a Candy Crush model, or worse yet, the increasingly prevalent pay-me model, where a developer asks for £45 up front and then also tries to tempt you into micropayments. This inspires confidence, at least in me. So I think that's a good point. You can read the rest of her story on Kotaku, but what she's basically saying is it is upfront free. So it is not, it will be more freemium as opposed to something that is more along the lines of what DCUO kind of turned into, which was the game that you actually paid for, and then you can get your DLC and stuff like that later, and actually end up paying a ton of money for the game as opposed to making it free up front, which it later was, and then you pay your subscription fee. So just wanted to throw that out there that Fable Legends is free to play on Xbox One, also be available on PC. Go to Kotaku, read Keza's story. Pretty interesting read.
I like that, Keza.
Yeah, she's good.
Coming by next week for our GDC live show.
Greg, over at IGN, our friend Luke Carmali wrote a piece about Final Fantasy 15, and he talked to Hajime Tabata, who's the director of Final Fantasy 15, and he told IGN the end is in sight. The story reads in part. Speaking to IGN, Tabata reassured anxious players that development was making good progress, despite it sounding comparatively slow when you consider it was 55% complete last September, and it looks to speed up from once the episode Duske demo arrives? Episode Duske? Another just terrible name for a Final Fantasy game. Quote, it's about 60% now, he says. People may look at that and say, well, you've only done 5% more, but it's actually a lot more complicated than that.
They're the one who are insisting on giving us these goddamn percents. Just stop.
It's the way they do it in Japanese development. In some ways, I'm being very conservative in my estimates there and not wanting to put out too big of a number. Developing big games on a large scale like this, it's not very even in terms of each area of the game being created. So you have uneven development processes where some things are nearly done and others are still at a prototype stage. It scares me if you think Final Fantasy 15 is coming out this year if things are still in the prototype stage that is going to be in that game. Nonetheless, he says, quote, what we tried to do for the demo is we took what we had already by last autumn and had some teams spend some time to make sure it was optimized to show to the public now. The order in which you develop something obviously isn't going to see you complete something and then move on to the next thing. So some things in the middle of development had to be shoved forward to be ready for the public, and that's what we've done with the demo. But because of the way development works, now we've seen a solid milestone. And using that, it means the end is in sight in some ways. After that's released and we continue with development, there may be times where we move up with massive leaps and bounds, so the overall number shoots up by 10% at a time. I think we're looking at much faster development in the near future. So you can read more of the story at IGN because there's just a few more tidbits in there. But Final Fantasy 15 is in no way, shape, or form coming out this year.
People are saying them here. Hashtag Colin was wrong.
There's no way the game's coming out this year. The game is 55% in September, 60% now.
But he already said he's rounding off those numbers.
There's no way.
Goofy said it's coming this year, Colin.
Yeah, Goofy did. No, I thought he said that he got Kingdom Hearts, which is even funnier.
I don't even remember what game we're talking about.
I hope it does. I hope
Goofy said something about this too.
Yeah, Goofy's like, by the way, Final Fantasy 15 also coming out this year. How the hell do you know that?
Goofy, what are you talking about?
So I think that Final Fantasy 15 probably comes out I would maybe even the summer 2016 game, and I think that would be a good place to put it. Give people time to spend with it. I don't think you want to release it in the fall. I don't think you want to release it in the spring. Let them take their time. God knows they've already taken their time, so just let them just finish the goddamn game at the pace that they want to. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope the game does come out this year.
Yeah.
But how? He just said that some things are still in the prototype stage.
Maybe it's just like the UI's in the prototype stage.
Maybe. I don't know, Gregory. We'll see.
Nobody knows. I bet Goofy knows.
Goofy probably does.
You bring up on the Goofy.
He's actually the only one that does know. Greg, some interesting story from GamesIndustry.biz. So there was some news coming out of Japan about Minecraft's really strong sales in Japan on PlayStation platforms. And over at Games Industry, they wrote they got some confirmation. Minecraft has sold 500,000 copies on PlayStation in Japan.
Nice.
All of them digital downloads. And Vita, 200,000 of those.
Damn right.
And the story by Matthew Hadderhan reads, Minecraft's seemingly limitless appeal extends to Japan, an insular gaming market that has generally proved a stern challenge for European and North American developers. Sony Computer Entertainment Japan has confirmed that the digital version of Mojang's phenomenally successful game has sold more than 500,000 units in total across PS4, PS3, and Vita. Among those, the Vita numbers are the most impressive, 200,000 units sold since it was released on Sony's handheld at the end of October last year. The company is now planning to release a packaged version of the game in March as a direct result. Of course, that represents only a small percentage of total sales of the Minecraft series, with the Pocket Edition alone topping 30 million worldwide as of last month, and the PC version adding another 18 million. It's one of the best-selling games of all time. Minecraft, indeed, have sold better than Super Mario Bros. On NES, which is unbelievable. So I wanted to throw that out there.
The power of blocks.
Power of Minecraft, man. And the power of Vita.
Did you ever play it on Vita? You always said that you're going to screw around with it one day.
It's on my Vita.
That's good. One step closer.
Yeah, so...
Is Persona 4 on your Vita?
Yes,
okay.
Persona 4 is on my Vita.
Okay.
It's been on my Vita since it came out.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm just... There's too many other things to play. I'd like to.
It's busy, I understand.
I'd like to. Over at VG247, Greg, Matt Martin writes, Payday 2 for PS4 and Xbox One includes a year's worth of paid DLC for free. So Payday 2 Crime Wave Edition is coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay.
Which is news to some people. And all the DLC that was paid on the PC version will be free on console. And the story reads, the new-gen version of the game will be available in June 2015 and includes almost all of the paid and free DLC released so far for Overkill's popular first-person shooter. That DLC includes the Big Bank Heist and Clover, the first playable female crook. Payday 2 Crime Wave Edition is the latest version of the game that has over 9 million players over Steam, Xbox 360, and PS3. The PS4 and Xbox One edition runs in 1080p resolution with an improved frame rate. Anyone looking to pre-order the game on PSN or Xbox Live can do so now. I still remember very candidly playing Payday with you when it first came out. Payday the Heist.
Remember, I did a whole thing where I set it up at IGN where we all played together.
And it was a really cool game. And the idea of the game is really cool. And I think was the inspiration for Battlefield Hardline. Like I really do believe it.
I totally agree with that.
So good for them to kind of get on the console and play with Battlefield and see who wins that race. You know, because I think Payday is a really nice idea, bank heist simulator basically, and so Xbox One and PS4 owners can look forward to that in June with some extra accoutrements. Let's go through a few more pieces of news, Greg, and then we will wrap it up.
Okay.
Over at Xbox Wire, the Xbox Wire staff wrote something about a game called The Escapist, and I just thought it looked pretty cool. The story reads how The Escapist made a clean getaway on Xbox One. And it's an interview here. But basically what it says, good news, you'll no longer have to commit a horrific crime and be judged and sentenced by a jury of your peers in order to experience the exhilarating rush of a good old-fashioned prison break.
Oh, good, okay.
In fact, the all-new Xbox One title, The Escapist, lets you stage a great escape from the comfort of your living room couch. It's quite a unique little game, and we recently caught up with the creator, Chris Davis, from The Escapist developer, Moldy Tooth Studios, and production director Kel Aston from publisher Team 17 to figure out just where the heck this innovative gem of a game came from. So basically, this game's a prison break simulator, top-down. The graphics, what drew me to it is that the sprite graphics remind me a little bit of Final Fantasy IV. They're not quite there, but they look like it, the way they're standing, and even the environment itself looks like a Final Fantasy game. But I thought this was a cool idea and a lot of innovation, again, coming from the indie space. Also reminded me maybe a little bit of inspiration just a little bit from Hotline Miami. In the sense that it's more of a top-down, cartoonish-looking game that has a very serious tone and a very serious thing you do. These guys are on the prison yard here.
It's going to be a cutesy prison game, though, right? There's not going to be rape or blood, I bet.
No, probably not. Well, who knows? Who knows?
I'm guessing. That's my prediction.
But the game, I think, is already on PC, and so it's coming to Xbox One, and I thought that I would just kind of throw that out there for our Xbox fans.
It's just a sequel to Payday, says R.H. Lamb.
I think this game looks really,
Yeah, it looks cool.
really cool. I'm looking forward to that. Over on PlayStation blog, they outlined Far Cry 4 Valley of the Yetis, which is due out March 10th, a piece of DLC, and this will also be available for the Xbox versions of the game, so fear not. Basically, all they said was, if you think you've explored every hidden corner of the massive open world in Far Cry 4, you will soon uncover a snowy new territory of Kriat. In the Valley of the Yetis, the latest add-on edition for Far Cry 4. In the aftermath of a helicopter crash, you are once again cast as Ajay Gal, but this time, you're up against an otherworldly foe. You can watch the trailer here.
Hell yeah.
Beyond the supernatural twist and threat of hungry beasts, you will have to contend with a group of violent cultists whose regular assaults will require an arsenal of weapons and significant fortifications to fend off. The enemy is after a secret that lies at the heart of the valley. As you discover their motives, you will fight a mystic evil that runs deeper than anything you've ever seen before, but you don't have to do it alone. Co-op play extends to the entire Valley of the Yetis campaign, allowing players to once again play as AJ and Herc for even more bro-powered moments and anecdotes. Far Cry 4 Valley of the Yetis launches on March 10th and is available as part of Far Cry 4 Season Pass. So if you have the Season Pass, you will get this for free. Otherwise, you can buy it individually. Wanted to throw this out there because Far Cry 4 is fucking awesome. And more Far Cry 4 can never hurt.
No.
Although I think people are kind of waiting for the more standalone... What was it? Blood Dragon?
Blood Dragon, yeah.
And
If you're fighting Yetis, though, come on. You're in the Valley of the Yetis. Look at those the big feet.
So interesting here. I got to go back and beat Far Cry 4. I spent an exorbitant amount of time with the game,
Yeah,
like
clearing the
just
map.
dozens of hours, and I did not beat it.
Look at him. There he is, the Yeti. I am the Yeti.
So there it is.
Some people were pointing out in the chat, Colin.
Yes.
That your Escapist is already out on Xbox One.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, we can go pick it up whenever.
Oh, jeez. Why did they write a story about it? Let me go back to The Wire here and read about it again.
Right down to the wire. Oh, whoa.
Oh, we should definitely play this. I thought that
Yeah.
I thought they were when I saw this today. I was like, I thought that they were teasing it. Because they don't. Did they say it's
yeah,
out?
they're not on jury, prison break, collect all new. I mean, we believe you, kids.
No, I totally believe you, but I read the story and I'm like, does it say? It doesn't say it's out.
Yeah. Well, good for them though. We'll download that.
Cool. Oh
immediately.
no, we should definitely do a let's play of that. Would have been helpful to let us know that it was out, but maybe I just misread. It's probably in there somewhere.
I'm gonna go to Xbox.com. You can buy stuff on Xbox.com. Maybe is that a thing?
I don't know. I
I like to see. I can walk you through the PlayStation Store backwards and blindfolded. I go to Xbox. I'm like, what's my password? Is it a thing that you download?
don't even remember my Xbox name. Greg,
Well, now it's all this damn Microsoft account.
over at GameSpot,
And
Eddie
you
wrote
remember
another.
your name? Remember it was Alexander Haig. It was one
Oh,
of the
yeah,
best,
that's right.
One
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
that's
best Xbox accounts I've ever heard of.
Yeah, that's great. I did make myself Alexander Haig. We played through all of Gears of War 3 with that name. Eddie over at GameSpot wrote a story called "Study People Buy PS4 for Graphics, Xbox One for a Brand, Wii U for
That
Fun."
makes sense.
Nielsen's study also shows the PS4 has been successful in attracting gamers who previously owned an Xbox 360 or Wii. Eddie writes, retail monitor Nielsen has released the results of its latest gaming study, this one examining the top factors shoppers consider when buying the new generation console. For gamers aged 13 and up, better resolution was a top driving factor for PlayStation 4, which surprised me because I didn't think anyone really gave a shit about that outside of our hardcore group here.
Sure.
While brand was the leading quality for Xbox One, meanwhile people gravitated towards the Wii U for its fun factor.
That makes perfect sense, don't you think?
I think so. So the study called Nielsen 360 Gaming Report asked an undisclosed number of respondents who were the driving factors behind the purchase. What were the driving factors behind the purchase of their consoles? Due to the lack of information on how many people were asked, the accuracy of Nielsen's data cannot be guaranteed. GameSpot has contacted the company for further clarification. I cannot read today.
It's okay.
So basically, if you look at there's a
I'm buying Escapist. I never opened it for you.
if you go to GameSpot
I'm on it.
and pay attention.
I'm listening to you. I was commenting as I went and bought it.
There's a document here up the top that is directly from Nielsen, and it says it splits up between PS4, Xbox One, and Wii U, the first through fifth kind of things that are like that why you would buy them, reasons you would buy them. And so for PS4, it's resolution, then Blu-ray, then game library, then processing power, then what the family wants. Xbox One, brand, innovative features, faster processing power, exclusive games, fun factor. And then Wii
That's
U,
interesting.
fun factor, better for kids, price, backwards compatibility, exclusive games.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
There's
You
interesting-
think exclusive games would go higher on Wii U?
That's what I was
but
going to say too. That's not what I would thought. I would have definitely seen maybe Fun Factor 1, exclusive games 2.
Yeah. Well, the kids thing makes sense. I understand that. You're some dumb dad with a van. You got 3 damn kids yelling in the background. You don't want them touching an expensive next-gen machine. Here's your tablet. Enjoy this. Play the cart with me. And then you beat them at Mario Kart, then they cry.
They do
Then
cry.
you put them in the room.
They
You play
absolutely
some
cry.
Smash with the wife. You put her in the room.
Mm-hmm.
You play the game with the witch, the Bayonetta, her clothes or her hair. Jesus, you're a disgusting father.
What are you talking about?
The man who did all that. We now officially own Escapists, everybody.
Cool, so we'll play that. Maybe we'll do that today. Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer wrote a story called Top-Down Shooter LA Cops booked for Xbox One in March. Top-down isometric shooter LA Cops, currently available via Steam Early Access, will launch for Xbox One on March 13th. Reminiscent of Hotline Miami in its retro-inspired setting and viewpoint, LA Cops sees you fight on the side of the law, but still shoot up everything in sight.
Yes, that's what
the
I
game's
wanted to.
Xbox One edition is being published by Worms developer Team 17.
I remember them.
The last update to the PC version added a new level in a nightmare mode back in December 2014. On Steam, the game is priced £8.99.
What was that? It's like $100.
Yeah, it's about $150, I think.
Jesus Christ!
It's not 100.
I know.
Quote, if LA Cops stepped into my office right now, I tell you that it's got what it takes, that it could make a difference in this city, end quote. Rick Lade wrote in Eurogamer's LA Cops Early Access review. So the game looks kind of cool. It is isometric. It definitely is clearly inspired by Hotline Miami, but it puts you on the other side. And I think that's a pretty neat thing. I'm looking forward to this game.
Got
see
some
what it's all
doo-doo
about.
donuts.
Like
Oh yeah, it does look like
it's
Hotline.
clearly Hotline Miami, but
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's you are the cops. You're just
I love killing people in the name of justice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Greg, just a couple more quick
And
stories.
this is only Xbox One.
It's on PC now, Xbox One. I'm sure it'll come to PS4 at some point.
All right.
But they just have that parity clause. I don't think they can.
Oh right. Is that out yet? I can't buy that one today, can I? Right? We're
What?
confirmed on the release date for this guy.
No. That's March. It said
Gotcha.
March.
Just making sure.
March 13th, 17th, something like that. All right, 2 more stories. These are scientific news, my friend.
You love your science. I saw one of them. Okay, good. It is that one. That's that. I saw this morning. I'm like, that'll pop up for sure.
Daily Mail. Authors Ellie Zolfgad. I'm sorry, I butchered that name. But she writes, mystery of Ceres' spot deepens.
Thanks,
Dawn
Kane.
probe finds another flashing alien mark on dwarf planet. Ceres continues to baffle astronomers as the Dawn spacecraft gets closer to being captured in orbit around the dwarf planet. The latest images taken nearly 29,000 miles from Ceres reveal that a bright alien spot that stands out in previous images lies close yet to another bright area. While NASA has not provided an explanation, please capitalize NASA.
They don't listen to your AP style.
Scientists suggest these spots may be frozen pools of ice at the bottom of a crater that reflect light. Quote, right now, all we can say is that the material reflects 40% or more of the light falling on it, end quote, UCLA astronomer Chris Russell, the principal investigator for the Dawn mission, told NBC News, quote, this limit is because of the resolution of the camera at the distance from Ceres. If the final answer is that it reflects all of the light that falls on it, then the most probable reflector would be ice, end quote. He added that there may be a volcano-like origin of the spots, which is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But that NASA will have to wait for better resolution before we can make such geologic interpretations. Using its ion propulsion system, Dawn will enter orbit around Ceres on March 6th.
When it does, fucking potato.
When it does, it's so cool, dude. Like, when it does, it will become the first human-made probe to visit the Death Star planet, and scientists hope it will uncover the secrets behind its mysterious white spot. It is cool because if you look, I'm trying to let me see if I can find a picture here. So Ceres is in the asteroid belt.
Yeah.
And it's just a minor planet in the asteroid belt. And the asteroid belt, of course, is between Mars and Jupiter, and it was probably a planet of its own at some point in the distant past. But it received a major impact. Yeah, here's a good picture of it. Just here, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
So we can show people because it really is fucking weird. Here, I'll just send it to you real quick.
I think this is weird enough. These light pools.
Well, here, but go to this picture I emailed you to.
Okay.
See if you can open this particular picture because there was a major asteroid strike on this planet in because it is in the asteroid belt, and it really does look like the fucking Death Star, like straight up.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And and we didn't even know this planet was there. Obviously, when Star Wars was made. So anyway, cool stuff happening.
I bet George Lucas knew when he did this.
Greg.
Yeah.
Creepier things closer to home. The final story comes from the Belfast Telegraph. This story is by, Stephen Connor. And he writes, Deep Q Network, new artificial intelligence can learn how to play vintage video games from scratch.
Good. It's almost here, everybody. The thing that'll kill us.
A new kind of computer intelligence has learned to play dozens of vintage video games without any prior help in how to achieve human-like scoring ability, scientists said. The intelligent machine learns by itself from scratch using a trial and error approach that is reinforced by the reward of a score in the game. This is fundamentally different to previous game-playing intelligent computers, the research said. The system of software algorithms is called Deep Q Network and has learned to play 49 classic Atari games, such as Space Invaders and Breakout, but only with the help of information about the pixels on a screen and the scoring method. The researchers behind the development said that it represents a breakthrough in artificial intelligence capable of learning from scratch without being fed instructions from human experts. The classic method for chess playing matches such as IBM's Deep Blue computer. Quote, this work is the first time anyone has built a single general learning system that can learn directly from experience to master a wider range of challenging tasks. In this case, a set of Atari games. It can learn to play dozens of games straight out of the box. What that means is we don't need to pre-program it between each game. All it gets access to is the raw pixel inputs and the game's score. From there, it has to figure out what it controls in the game world, how it gets points, and how it masters the game just by playing the game.
Mad Birdie 23 says, didn't Psychomantis do this?
Yeah, he did.
You read your memory card?
The ultimate goal here, according to Demis Hazabis, who works for this company that made this program, I guess, says the ultimate goal is to build smart general-purpose machines, but we're many decades off from doing that. But I do think it is the first significant rung on the ladder.
Damn, that's crazy.
So yeah, this computer can play 49 Atari games, mastered 49 Atari games with no help. No help.
Can he play E.T.? Can anybody play E.T.?
No one can play E.T.
This is Goofy, of course, confirming Final Fantasy 15 for us.
That son of a bitch.
He's in the recording booth for every game now, so he's just the one who knows.
Greg,
Yeah.
that's it for the news.
Okay.
Let's remind people before we're going to go into the chat and talk to you guys, so start sending your questions, and comments and concerns, of course, as well. But we're giving away Homeland.
Porty thinks it's free.
Oh, I'm sorry, Homeworld. I'm thinking of Homeland, the show, which I was just watching.
You like it?
Huh?
You like the show?
The show? Oh, yeah. Homeworld.
Yeah. This
PC,
is the
special edition from Gearbox.
Yep, special edition sent to us. Got a keychain, the game, a collector's book, a statue. This is sent to press people like us. We're turning it over to you because, of course, every day here in Colin Reg Live, we come live at 11, and then we give away something into the Friday giveaway. This week, we already gave away PAX passes, so then we have 4 days to go with, so we went with one big prize you can't get anywhere else. We're sending it out. Tomorrow, Colin will draw from the pile to choose. I won't be here. You'll have to do it.
I'll do the best I can.
Okay.
All right, Greg, let's talk to our people for a little while. Let's see. Melquire750 says, when will you guys be getting Bloodborne, and are you excited? I assume we'll get Bloodborne in a couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah. I want it now.
Probably even sooner than that. I don't know. I haven't even reached out and talked to Sony about that yet. But I'm looking forward to it. I have no expectations that I will enjoy it the way I think a lot of people will enjoy it. But I do think that the extra arcadey flair and a little bit of the speed that has been added into the game will be everything I need to play it longer than I played Demon's Souls and Dark Souls.
You played for like a weekend, or it was like a week during your retirement vacation?
In May, I played Dark Souls every day that day. Yeah. Well, I had played Dark Souls 2 when it came out. No, Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls. Yeah, I played Dark Souls 2. I went back to it because everyone's like, you're missing something, and I played it. And I'm like, no, I appreciate it more, but it's still not for me.
You understand the obsession? Usually,
I get it. It's just I get it because you feel like you really completed something when you do something in that game.
Yeah.
But like. And people are like, Colin, you love old games, you love difficult games, you love being challenged. Why don't you like Dark Souls? And I'm like, it's just not everything jives for everyone, you know?
Yeah. Different strokes.
Let's see.
Plastic Corn says, so Escapist later today. No, not.
Oh, yeah.
Not for a stream. We have to do more Let's Plays to get ahead because next week is GDC. If you didn't know, Monday through Wednesday, we're streaming 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time with a whole bunch of developers from Cliffy B to Housemark guys to Steve Gaynor to all sorts of crazy people. Sledgehammer Games. Crazy schedule that I'll be able to tease soon enough. So we have to do all the Let's Plays that go live next week and then all the Let's Plays that go after that because, of course, as soon as GDC ends, it doesn't really end, but when it ends for us on Wednesday night, we then fly to PAX on Thursday. Panel Sunday, come.
WWW YouTube Beta says,
Beta.
Will you guys ever have fans be a guest on Colin and Greg Live? Probably not. Not now, anyway, because we do this out of our house. But maybe when we get an office in the future,
when we figure it out, I'm going to be surprised. We already do the Patreon goal, right? To come on the Kind of Funny cast, to come on a Game Over Greg's show. There's different ways, but right now, Colin and Greg Live, I think will be held to. Guest hosts are coming in, are in the industry of some way.
Brightest Days asks, guys, is there any chance Konami will revitalize the rest of the Suikoden series on PSN? Probably. I think there's probably a pretty good chance because it seems like
it's done well.
Yeah, it seems like
Suikoden and Suikoden 2 seem like they've done pretty well with PlayStation Classics.
Yeah, and Konami needs. I'm sure. I have no doubt needs funds.
Everybody needs funds.
Yeah, but I mean, like they have with the exception of Metal Gear, like they have nothing.
Castlevania.
They destroyed Castlevania. Yeah. So what do you it's just weird to me. Like they used to be so powerful.
Yeah.
And now they have Metal Gear.
Yeah.
You know? So and we'll see how that does. Let's see. Tigers fan OU says, you guys nervous about taking your first show on the road with the new channel?
No?
No, we've done many live shows. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, there was a point last night where I wanted to quit when I was doing the GDC schedule because there's just so much to do and talk to. But when I got at the end of the day, when I got to look at the Excel document and see it broken out in 30-minute chunks, I was pretty proud of it. And I think the whole point, and I'm stressing it to all the developers who are coming on, all the guests who are bringing in games, is the fact that everything's going to go wrong. Don't sweat it. That's what this whole show's about, right? Like we traded our reach for our intimacy, which means that the camera's probably not going to turn off, really. There won't be many static screens for you to watch Monday through Wednesday, which means that a developer will get here while another developer's finishing, that developer will leave, that dev will sit down, we'll have to talk to Kevin while he sets up the game off the thing. We're just going to have a good time to show games. Because we're indie, they're indie, and that's the whole point.
Yep.
We're having fun, showing cool stuff. And then PAX then will be basically a celebration, because we'll have done like a week of really hard work, and then PAX is like, we have a few demos, or booked demos with our friends, but then the rest are just like float around and see other games and talk to people and do things, go do panels, do all this other stuff.
Hanging out. Black Label 04 says, what is Portillo doing to Greg?
Portillo's tearing apart this crab he got from a bark box a long time ago.
Yeah, that thing's gross. You should just throw that thing out.
No, but look at how much he loves it. It got washed not too long ago. He'll tear it apart one day. And the next guest that comes over,
when
this
you
one's
have your
probably marked
laundry
for death.
person come in, that you actually gave that to them to wash
Once or
it?
twice, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes they just make their way
They
in
come
there.
extra early when they return the crab? Like
They
maybe 3
came
in the
at
morning?
8:15 yesterday. 8:15.
No, they didn't. CMD Luke, I don't know how to say this. Greg, doing any meetups in LA during your travels next week?
No. If you looked at my tweet today, yeah, I'm out to LA tomorrow. Then I'm back to San Francisco. Like all the LA trips are day trips. So I fly in tomorrow morning to LA and I fly out in the evening. Then I'm back in San Francisco all Saturday, Sunday, LA in the morning, back to San Francisco in the evening. So there's no time for meet and greets. Your meet and greets will be the panels we're doing at PAX.
Encolo7 says, guys, I'll be in San Francisco next weekend for my 30th birthday. Any bar restaurant recommendations? Yeah, a lot of them. Hard Water on the Embarcadero is one of our favorite spots if you like cocktails and southern food. Hops and Hominy is kind of my new joint. That place is kind of closer to Union Square, I think. Southern food and cocktails again.
Yeah.
Nope is awesome. That's on Divisadero. Great cocktails. There's a theme with all the places I go.
Yeah, I throw out Social for brewery, beer that's brewed here. 21st Amendment downtown has good beer as well. Pachi's Pizza, of course, because I've talked about that forever. Wings and Lower Hate, go in there. Say hi to Christian for me.
Yeah, a lot of good places to eat. You'll be just fine. Actually, there's another place in the Mission called ABV that I'm really into now. You can't make reservations there. We've talked about it before. It's fucking crowded as hell in there. But if you hit it right, you can sit at the bar, get some good cocktails, and they have like charcuterie and all sorts of shit.
Charcuterie.
It's awesome.
We have a tip here with an interesting idea. It's from DLV7709. He tips us and says, do you guys want to give away my used copy of The Order to another sub? The catch is that when they beat it, they have to send it back to you to give to another sub. Kind of funny library. We've talked about that before, haven't we?
It's like a pretty good idea.
How about then send us the order, then we'll give it away, then we'll send it out. They send it back, we'll go that way. So, of course, go ahead. First off, thank you for the tip, DLV. Send us the order to, it's in our Twitch description, but P.O. Box 22541, San Francisco, California, 94122. Kind of funny, obviously. But it's in our Twitch page, so just go get there and get it.
Trey Too Fast says, have you guys had an old-fashioned with Canadian whiskey? It's the best way to have one. It's fucking blasphemy. The old-fashioned, like virtually every other cocktail, is American, and we drink it with American liquor.
Okay.
Greg.
Okay, sorry. My apologies.
No, okay. I'm not.
When I was in Canada, I was walking through the duty-free shop looking around for stuff for you to see what they got. And they had one, it wasn't a bourbon, so I didn't buy it, but they had one whiskey that was the Maple Leaf. I thought that was pretty dope.
Oh, yeah, that's Canadian whiskey.
Well, I know, but the bottle was a Maple Leaf, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, so you wanted the bottle.
Well, and I didn't want it at all. That's why I didn't buy it. I just thought, oh, that's a funny little bottle.
Okay. Greg, let's do two more.
Before we go to sub only.
Two more questions before we go to sub only. Post comment says, California, I wish I lived there, with a little sad face. And no, you don't. Where you live is probably great. California's fine. Heinously expensive. Taxes out of control. If I didn't have to live here, I wouldn't be here. You know, like straight up. I wouldn't. I was telling, I mean, when we first founded the company, I'm like, dude, it's like, let's just, like, I was dead serious. I'm like, let's just go to, like, fucking Utah or something. You know, like seriously, let's just leave. We don't need to be here anymore, but I can't get you guys to leave. Or maybe we can go to New York City.
Utah.
Funny JPG says Colin is a piece of work.
No, that's true.
No doubt about it. Let's see. Let's do two more. Midnight Mayor says, have you guys been to Monterey? About to go there to visit my bro. I think I have been to Monterey.
Yeah, I've been to Monterey. They got an aquarium down there. I
Yeah.
went to a bed and breakfast once.
Oh.
A lot of ants
I don't
were
think
in
I've
it.
ever been to bed and breakfast.
It was good.
Yeah.
Except for the ants.
They had ants at the bed and breakfast?
Yeah.
Did you get your money back? Did you complain?
Yeah, I got moved rooms, yeah.
Oh. It's interesting. They probably one of those places where they don't believe in like any chemicals, so like the ants are just going to be hanging out.
The ants actually own the property.
Oh.
Never heard this story?
No. I don't
Steimer and I went there, and this is when we first started dating. We go to this bed and breakfast down there. We get there, and I see like 2 picnic ants around like one of the closets or whatever, and I kill them, throw them away. I'm like, oh, no big deal, whatever, picnic ants. We go out, we walk around Monterey. We went to like, they had like a cookie shop there, right? And I bought a cookie or whatever, and I brought it back and put it down, and then we watched a movie. And like, I get up and the lights are off for the movie, and I'm like, I'm gonna eat some of this goddamn cookie, because I was coming from the bathroom. And I reach in and grab the cookie, and I pull it out, and I just feel something on my hand. And I flick on the lights, and my hand, there's ants all over the cookie, and now they're all over my hand, and they're all over the bed. And I just go, ants! And I run into the bathroom and spike the cookie in the sink and turn on the water and drown him. And so then we had to go downstairs and tell them, right? But it was like a small bed and breakfast. It's already late at night. We get down there, and there's like 2 20-somethings chilling, like not behind the desk, but right there. And I'm like, hey, do you know where the woman who's running this is? He's like, oh, they're having a private party upstairs for one of the people going away or whatever. We can go get her. They bring this woman down. She is blackout drunk. Like, I mean, just like stumbling around. I'm trying to explain what's happening. She's like trying to run new keys and can't do it. And then she couldn't remember. We had to go back upstairs and like check if other rooms were occupied to go. It was so weird. It was so bizarre. She was like stumbling into walls and shit, slurring all her words. She apologized profusely.
Did she? Oh, she, that's funny, man.
Yeah, it happens, man. Everybody gets drunk at work. You understand. You looking at more pictures of the Death Star?
Yeah, I saw someone talk about Mimas. Now, Mimas is here, so we're going to get into something real quick, Greg.
More science, everybody.
Mimas is a moon of Saturn.
Okay.
Someone said that Mimas is actually the Death Star looking one. Mimas also has an interesting image. So here's an image of Mimas.
You want one in particular?
Yeah, like what you can see. That's Mimas.
Yeah.
Now, I think that Ceres, if you look for Ceres now.
Like that?
No, Ceres. There.
Yeah, they both have the same.
They're different bodies, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. I just want to make sure I wasn't crazy.
I don't think you're crazy.
Whew. I thought it was crazy. That's not. I think I might still be crazy, but.
Well, yeah, that's true. I guess we're not like. This. Oh, look, they have a beer named after this planet. Neat.
Greg.
Yeah.
They named the planet Ceres. That name was never used before.
No.
All right, Greg. Let's go to sub only chat.
Oh, sub only chat. Remember, you don't have to leave, but if you're not a sub, you can't talk. Because this is one of the benefits of being a sub. Just like the emoticons, just like the image, just like this sub only chat. Just like the Ceres beer that's in your fridge now that we put there.
So 3K Leo says that's a nipple. Mr. Bladefist says, any news on the PAX East meetup location? No, because I don't know how we're gonna make this happen. I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if we're gonna be able to do this.
Okay.
You know, like I don't. The location's not the problem. I want to do it near NU, but like Greg's busy like the entire time we're there. So like it's like how are we gonna do it during the day? We're afraid if we do one during the day that we will take you from
PAX.
From PAX, and then maybe we won't have everyone we want or need to be there.
Yeah.
That might be our only option though. So I don't know. What do you think?
I'll do whatever you want to do.
Why is it my decision?
Because every other decision's mine. It's time for you to take some.
No, I'm good.
I always make the wrong ones too to you.
No, I'm all right.
Okay.
No decisions. The Lambert says anticipating any Vita games, all of them.
For as much as I'm traveling in the next 2 weeks, I'm really not upset, but it really sucks that Hotline Miami 2 isn't here.
Yeah.
Because I would fucking love to play
Helldivers.
the hell.
And you have Orishika.
That's true too. I have games to play, but Hotline Miami is just that perfect portable game.
Solo357 just subscribed. Thank you for
you.
that. Cody Rostron 1834 says thoughts on that badass Arkham Knight trailer. We talked about it yesterday on Colin and Greg Live. We were
You can catch it in the archive.
very interested in it.
Looks awesome.
Ryoichi says, Colin, did you get to play Danganronpa another episode of that NAS event? If so, what did you think? No, the game is not done yet. Although I think we will get a copy sooner rather than later.
We saw a trailer though.
Yeah, we saw the trailer. That's
Yeah.
good. Let's see. Trevor High Five says, have you guys found a groove and is making all the content seem to have slowed down? I think it has, but I don't know if you agree. I think it's getting better every week, actually.
Like I said, last night I wanted to quit and cry, but I think once we're outside of GDC again, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's weird because like I still feel bad for you because we hired Kevin to take a lot off your shoulders.
He
and
did.
It seems to have not.
No, he did. I mean, imagine if I
was.
was still trying to edit all the Let's Plays and everything else, and I still had to do GDC as well.
But I never heard you say that you wanted to quit and cry until after we hired Kevin.
Yeah.
So that's not a good sign for me.
Okay.
Graham Cracker 20 says, how many copies do you think the order has sold? I don't think it'll crack 1.5.
3.
3 copies. I think it will definitely crack 1.5 million worldwide, but how many has it sold so far? I don't know. 500,000 maybe? More? I don't know. I have no idea. We'll find out.
DLV7709. My son just pooped in my hand and I don't even have kids. What
the hell does that mean?
What the hell? Are you high?
Emo Johnny 79 says, what are you hoping for in the next big PS4 update?
Sort your friends. That'd be nice. Maybe, yeah. I'd like to be able to pin things to the bar, you know what I mean? Right now it's like order you played or whatever, and then everything else is in the library, which is better than when it was every game you've ever played laid out. What about you?
Yeah, just a cleaner interface, name change options, more customization options. I think a few people had brought up to us in the past, like an ability to follow someone without being their friend or whatever would be nice. I'd honestly like to delete my entire friends list except for the people I actually know in real life, and then just have people that they can follow me if they want or whatever.
Yeah,
that way
nice.
I can see like what my friends are playing.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I can never get lower than like Aardvark on my fucking list before I'm like, I don't even know.
And it locks out and you're like, I got no time for this.
Because that was we've said that before, that was the great part about going on PS3. Before I play any game, I would just scroll through the list and see what people were playing. And then sometimes I'd be like, oh, I haven't played that, or oh, I've been thinking about that. And,
It always boggles my mind when somebody will hit me up and be like, oh, I see you're playing whatever. Like on Vita, I get a lot of those because it's easier to see, I think, notifications on Vita for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh yeah, like normal people can still do that. Whereas I just don't even, I'm just in this like vacuum, right? Of I don't even try to check out what other people are doing because it's so hard to find. Android LJ says, guys, where do you go to buy import PlayStation products? PlayAsia is typically the place you want to go. That's where we got that Freedom Wars guy. Percy. Let's see. Nat Cool Craig says, what would you change your name to? I'm not so sure I would change my name. I just like the option being there. Like, people are fucking tired of this shit. You know, like I've said before, and this is really just the best way of putting it. In 2006, 14-year-old John Smith buys his PlayStation 3, and he names himself Bong Ripper 420. Of course he does. John Smith today is now 24. And his name is still Bong Ripper 420, and he can't do anything about it. I don't think Sony thought it through. No one thought it through when you were getting your gamer tag that would be something assigned to you the rest of your life. I did though. Well, I don't. I mean, my name's. I mean, IGN is my legacy. I don't care about that really, but it's like it would be nice to just have the option. Sure. And I know that people really care. Like, dude, when I wrote about that at IGN, like before I left, like was one of my last op-eds. That thing did fucking crazy traffic. People were going nuts. Yeah. You know, like over that. Like, just why? There are people who be like, I'll pay you $100 to let me do it. You know, like there are people that are they're desperate. Sony, these people are desperate. All right, Nick Fixer keeps asking if we'll ever play Sunset Overdrive. I would like to, but I doubt it. I mean, I just have no time to play games, so there you go. I mean, I spent a lot of time with the game before it came out. One more. Okay. Well, Pellegrini17, this one counts, says, my PSN got locked out and they had to change my name. They can change your name on the back end, but you lose all of your trophies. It's not worth it. And that's which tells you that the trophy system is obviously like a parallel system to the core PSN stuff. Sure. They can change your name. Like if your name's offensive or like you have a problem, I think you can call them and they do it and you keep your games, but you lose everything else. You just call Shu directly. Yeah, call him. Hero5700 says, get Shuhei on the line. Yep. Xander says, my question is, can you guys answer a few more questions? Oh. That's a waste of a question. That's a waste of a question. He tried to get you like a genie though. I tried to get the genies. Emo Johnny 79 has the final question. I think we already heard from him today, but it's a good question. What's the deal with that Mad Max game? That's a great question. No idea. I think that game. I don't want to say. I don't assume to know that game is in development hell, but Avalanche is doing that game, right? That sounds right. That was one of those announcements that it did nothing. It did absolutely nothing for me. You know what I mean? Like I have no affinity for that franchise. And certain people were flipping out about it, and everybody else was like, whatever. So yeah, Avalanche is working on Mad Max, or has been, or was, and they're doing Just Cause 3. Yeah. They don't seem panel I'm hosting at PAX East. They don't seem to be that big of a studio. Yeah.
So it's like
I'll ask him.
you should. That's a great question because it's that's a great question. Mad Max has kind of just disappeared.
Hey guys, what the fuck are you doing?
All right, that's it.
Okay.
Greg?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at KindaFunnyVids. I am at No Taxation. Greg is at GameOverGreggy. You can find all of our content at KindaFunny.com, whether it's on YouTube or Patreon or wherever the hell you want to go.
Exclusive episode of the Gamescast went live yesterday on Kinda Funny.
Oh, great.
Patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames.
Yeah, so if you are a supporter of us on Patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames, you have a new exclusive episode that only you will get, as we do every month on both of our Patreons. This one's about Japanese role-playing games, and it's really, really good. I like that one a lot. That was a good episode. So check that out. You can follow all of the stuff we do on Twitch in our archive from 60 Days of Air. So if you miss an episode of Colin and Greg Live and it's really bothering you and you're losing sleep,
What did
and
they
tossing and
say?
turning, you can go check that out in the archive. We'll be better about streaming hopefully after GDC and PAX East.
Well, I mean, we're doing,
But I mean, well,
6 hours of...
But I mean, streaming.
I know what you mean.
games.
Regularly, yeah.
Next week, of course, we are going to do Colin and Greg Live. Just never going to go away, basically.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time. We hope you are well. Keep in touch with us. We'll see you tomorrow. Until next time, au revoir.